Hello and welcome in for another episode of Ship Talk. It is Matrix Inc. here. On today's episode, we're going to be going over the latest monthly report. And before we get into all that, we're going to go over the last monthly report of November and December. And there's a couple actual teasers that actually dropped us this time, so this should be fun. All right, so if for a quick refresher of the last one, we talk about the UK team to start off with. They worked on the Gattac Railen. The Hammerhead Aegis kit was mentioned. Talking about the gold standard, Miss Colby passed its white box review, the Ironclad Assault, Ironclad and Command Module pressed towards gray box reviews. Greycat UTV continued development. RSI Galaxy entered pre-production, and it mentioned 4 unannounced vehicles. First passed its white box and gray box reviews. Second, progressing quickly due to availability. Third, passed white box. Fourth, entered production. Now this one actually talks about like this manufacturer hasn't been worked on in a long time. I personally, I'm maybe assuming it's Origin, so possibly an Origin ship there. And then on the North American team side, it talked about the Drake Kraken headed for a white box review in February, and then 2 unannounced vehicles. The first being an early 2026 release. I'm going to assume that was the RSI Hermes, and then the second moving through white box hero rooms. We're going to call that the hero ship. So that is a quick recap of the November, December, and actually let's go check out the monthly report of January and get into it. All right, guys, so it starts off with the UK team. It talks about 5 unannounced vehicles. Now, that's actually up 1 from the last report, so kind of makes things a little bit interesting here. Now, the first, it goes over the final review, final touches ahead of its release. Second, the team began laying groundwork. Third, passed white box review. Fourth, passed white box review, but it talks about not without complications. Had issues with its main gameplay feature. The way they kind of talk about this, it has something possibly to do with crafting. It could very well be the consolidated Outlands Forge that we know about. Like I said, though, these are all unannounced. This is all throwing darts, so we really don't know. And then the 5th approached white box review. Really pretty vague when it comes to these ships, right? They're all a mystery. 5 different ships, all unannounced, and we're taking guesses. So the Gattac Railen progressed through white box. It's on track for a gate review in February. So very exciting news for the alien ship fans out there. The Greycat UTV continued development. The Miss Colby passed the gray box review and going through Loto phase. So that could be something that we actually see pretty soon. So it's kind of exciting if you're a Holby owner. That one's actually gonna be able to land too. So that one we're all really excited for. And then it talks about the Drake Ironclad, the Assault, and the module continued through development. Now it doesn't really tell us a lot, but it actually gives us 2 sneak peek pictures of the ship. So let's actually check those out real quick. All right, so here's the first of 2. If you didn't know any better, you'd think you were sitting in the Drake Caterpillar, which I like that. I love that. I love everything Drake in terms of how they feel and they're industrial and looks all really cool. Looks like some kind of hallway we have here and maybe even a ladder that goes up. All pretty cool. Now, the Drake Caterpillar, I'm not a really big fan of flying it, but with the Ironclad and how much space we're going to have and all the possibilities that we can do with it, it definitely excites me. So this one's getting very, very close to actually seeing it drop. So let's go to the second picture real quick. And our second teaser is what I believe to be the command module of the Ironclad. It's very, very similar to the Drake Clipper in terms of having that jet engine in the back where you can see it. This really is very, very cool. Looks cool. Now, if you don't know, the command module is actually supposed to detach from the ship. Now, this is supposed to apply to the Caterpillar as well. All right, so the idea is if your ship gets blown up or you need to make an emergency run, you can detach and leave the area, and you're supposed to be able to swap between ships too, though. So if you have the Caterpillar and the Ironclad, these are supposed to interchange between each other. So this is why it's really been keeping the teams at this for a long time, because this has been essentially a new feature, right? So pretty cool, pretty exciting. I'm really hoping the Drake Ironclad comes I'd like to see it before, but it looks like it's on track for Drake Day. All right, so now we go into the North American team side of things. It really only talks about one unannounced ship, and the way to describe it is as yet unannounced ship. All right, so it progressed through its white box phase. Last month saw its variants blocked out to ensure that there are no surprises when they go into development at a later date. So this one is an as yet unannounced ship. It's supposed to have variants along with it that are also making sure that they're not going to have issues with that ship as this one progresses. All right, so this one really intrigues me. I have honestly no idea. Says the team also adjusted some of the interior spaces to add more windows between rooms based on feedback. Okay, so very intriguing. And then it talks about, last but not least, the Drake Kraken continued through white box with the first of its gate reviews set for mid-February. So right on track like it was before, which is a major milestone for the team and the ship. Further work from the concept team was scheduled to help the production team refine some of the areas that had evolved since the original concept, or that weren't as well refined during the original concept phase. So let's check out this one teaser real quick, a little bit closer. All right, so as you can see, it's a very, very close-up picture. It's very hard to tell. Now, there's going to be some people that's probably thinking, oh, this is the Drake Ironclad. That's really not how SC operates. The way they talk about the Kraken and then drop the photo below it, that very well tells us that's a teaser of the Kraken itself. Now, what part of the ship, I'm not exactly sure. It kind of looks like it's behind in the ship. So I've pulled up this other picture real quick here. Let's tab out of this one, bring it down here. It looked like maybe it could be back behind the bridge area through here. If I had to kind of guess, it could actually be front side of the ship. It's so hard to tell, but this is the actually like first real teaser since they've actually announced they've been working on it. So very exciting stuff, y'all. Alrighty guys, so there we have it. Another monthly report is in the books. January didn't really have a lot of surprises. Maybe, if anything, the whole B being so close is actually quite promising. We got a lot of cool teasers this time versus the last one. 3 different teasers, 2 for the Ironclad, 1 for the Kraken. So a lot of love towards the Drake. I think the biggest surprise is the Anvil Liberator not actually getting any kind of mention there again. That's back-to-back monthly reports. You know, from the November, December, and now the January, no mention of the Liberator. So that's kind of disappointing, but that's mainly because of the tactical strike missions that we're talking about that is coming pretty soon. So 2026, we're supposed to have a really cool missions that's going to be like bringing multiple ships into a battle. And the Anvil there is supposed to be one that's, you know, we're hoping that's going to be part of that. So not a lot to be mentioned. Guys, I want to say thank you all for watching. You're all the best. Now be on the lookout for one of my later episodes on YouTube. I'll actually drop it up here. It'd be nice. Go watch that video. There's a giveaway happening on that very video. So guys, until next time, we'll be back. Peace.